this is Chloe Blanket, and I will be presenting on the top 10 best-selling cards within the Pokemon set Surging Sparks Part 2. This Part 2 essentially implies that I have done this before. I analyzed the best-selling cards of Surging Sparks a couple of months ago, and we are going to be looking at them again and maybe comparing a couple of their rankings from last time. Now, how I choose my top 10 or how I calculate my top 10 bestsellers. When choosing the top 10, I pay most of my attention to sales volume, market price, and market price changes, striking a balance between these three. This is because in my eyes, the best-selling cards are those that are selling a lot at a relatively high price, considering the card's history and the type of card it is. So in order to find this top 10, I looked at the top 15 most popular in price charting and the top 15 best-selling on TCG Player related to the set. From there, I took all the cards collected and ranked them all based on individual traits, so price point, price change, and sales volume. And then I calculated the final ranking using a point system based on their placements in each individual category. So for example, the card who has the highest price point would get the most amount of points. The card with the smallest price point would get 0 points, and then that would apply. That same nature would apply to the other individual categories. Then I total those points based off of their rankings to get my final score, and then to rank them to get my top 10. From here on out, each slide will contain an explanation of why I believe it is within the top 10. There will also be a few honorary mentions at the end. These are basically cards that were within the top 10 a couple months ago and are no longer within the top 10 for one reason or another. And yeah. Starting with our first card, our first place card, this is Skarmory 209. It was previously ranked number 7. It has now risen to number 1. Calculation-wise, this is due to its rising price change over and sales volume over time. But as to why it's up here, Skarmory is an illustration rare. Illustration rares are full arts and are always sought after by collectors regardless of Pokemon or artwork. In addition, Skarmory is a Gen 2 Pokemon, so it has a lot of nostalgia appeal and is popular within the fan base, especially among older fans. Skarmory also just has an awesome design with its like metallic steel type, flying type kind of sorta combination. And in addition, this artwork is real nice. The detail in this artwork and the positioning stance and attention to detail and the design of Skarmory is top tier. This makes this card very appealing to collectors and fans, and it's also a very displayable card, which basically just means you can see the Pokemon very well, and the art is really nice, so collectors would take it as a card that they'd want to display in their binders and stuff like that. Our second place card is Sylveon EX086. This card was not within our top 10, but was considered in our calculations. It was ranked number 15 overall a couple months ago. Anyways, as to why this card is up here, this card is a double rare, which I included because it isn't often in the top bestsellers. The top bestsellers are usually illustration rares, ultra rare, special illustration rares, etc. Just rarities that are higher than double rare. And so I just wanted to note that. In addition, Sylveon is a very popular Pokemon. It's an EV evolution, which immediately makes it popular, and Sylveon is also arguably one of the fan favorites of the EV evolutions because of its sort of feminine and cute aesthetic and its fairy typing. Fairy types tend to do quite well. And then as to why this card of a low rarity is up here, this card has an alternate version found in prize packs. Prize packs can only be obtained by participating and or winning in tournaments, and so they are considered rare. That affirms the competitive playability of the card, and so you get that playability which attracts players. But it also, the existence of an alternate version boosts the popularity and the sales of equivalent cards of that version. And yeah, and this also has to do with collectability, as in collectors will want to own all versions of a card, and so collectors will not only want to own all Sylveon cards, they'll want to own this version of a Sylveon card along with its prize pack version, along with, I think there's also a stamped version of this card. We have another illustration rare, so full art that collectors really want. In terms of Pokemon popularity, this is Latios. Latios is a legendary Pokemon along with Latios, who is its pair, or its legendary pairing in this case. This makes Latios heavily lore relevant and also popular among fans because of its presence within the narrative of the anime. In addition, we just have really nice artwork. Once again, high quality and detailed artwork that plays with light very well, and it's just very pleasing art that appeals to collectors and fans. Next, we have Latios EX220. This was a card that wasn't even considered within our calculations last time, which is why the previous ranking reads as NA. So this is a new contestant, or a completely new card within our rankings. This card is an ultra rare, which is a relatively high rarity tier that attracts collectors. In addition, like I said before with Latios is a legendary Pokemon, so it is popular due to its low relevance and its presence within the narrative. And then as to why this is up here, while this is not the Chase Latios card of the set, this is an alternate version of the Chase cards of the set, and therefore is not as rare and is also cheaper than other cards, so that makes it more affordable. Essentially, this is the more affordable version of other higher rarity, more expensive cards of the same Pokemon. If you want a Latios card, but you kind of have a budget constraint, you would usually get this card. Next, we have a Alolan Dugtrio 208. Its previous ranking is number 2, now it's number 5, so a little bit of a fall, but not that much. This is another illustration rare, so another full art that collectors like. In terms of Pokemon popularity, this is Dugtrio, specifically Alolan Dugtrio. Alolan Dugtrio's popularity banks on the fact that it is just a funny looking Pokemon, and so that gives it long-standing joke appeal, which keeps it relevant throughout generations. And then the artwork's just really nice. It's simple but vibrant in its art style, and we also have center focus positioning, which makes this card appealing to collectors since it makes it displayable. Next, we have another card similar to our Latios card that was not even considered in our calculations last time. This is Durant EX 236. This is a special illustration rare. Special illustration rares are highly sought after by collectors since they are rarer than illustration rares and tend to be of higher quality. And in addition, his artwork just tends to be quite popular. Full arts that play with size tend to do very well, or full art Wailord cards tend to be within top bestsellers because of how creative the artists get when it comes to the scale of Wailord. Similarly, Durant is quite a small Pokemon, and so its arts tend to play with size. That attracts fans and collectors. In addition, the simple art style works well with the concept of the card and the Pokemon, and so this attracts collectors and fans. Next, we have Slackoff 212. It was previously ranked number 3, and now it is ranked number 7. We have another full art or illustration rare. We have another illustration rare. So collectors like it. In terms of Pokemon popularity, Slackoff is more popular than a lot of people would think, as it is an overall loved Pokemon, as well as the pre-evolution to Slacking, which is a very powerful Pokemon in video game competitive play, referred to as Pokemon VGC. This artwork is also cute and cozy, with unique framing. It's considered quite personality heavy, as it captures the nature of Slackoff very well, and so that makes it popular among fans of the franchise. Next is Pikachu EX 216. It was previously ranked at number 6, and now it is ranked at number 8, so another like small fall but not very significant. This card is an ultra rare, similar to our, similar to our Latios card. So this card is an ultra rare, similar to our Latios card, so relatively high rarity tier that attracts collectors. In addition, this is a Pikachu card. Pikachu is the mascot of Pokemon and is arguably the most popular Pokemon within the fan base, and because of this, Pikachu cards are basically guaranteed to sell very well. In addition, while this is not the Chase Pikachu card of the set, it is an alternate version of the Chase cards and therefore not as rare and also cheaper, making it more affordable. So similar to our Latios card, while this isn't the Chase Pikachu card of this set, it is an affordable version, and it is more affordable and is still a Pikachu card, and so if you have budget constraints, this is the card you tend to go for. As implied before, there are other Pikachu cards within this set, and so collectors will buy this card simply to have all Pikachu cards within the set. Next is Latios EX 076. It is ranked at number 9 now. It was previously at number 5. This is another double rare, so another card of low rarity that you would normally not see within the bestsellers, similar to our Sylveon card. It carries that popularity of Latios that we saw before, with it being a legendary and having a lot of lore relevance and narrative presence, as well as nostalgia appeal. Similarly to the Sylveon card, a lot of what brings this card into the top 10 is its alternate prize pack version, which boosts the popularity of this card due to how rare its prize pack version can be. Finally, we get our number 10 card, which was actually previously number 1. This is Precious Trolley 185. This is an A-spec rare card, which indicates it as a powerful, highly sought-after card. It has somewhat of an equivalent rarity to illustration rares, and so that also attracts collectors. This card mainly banks on playability, similar to Sylveon and Latios. It has that prize pack version, but because it doesn't have that Pokemon popularity, it banks a lot on playability more than anything. This card is considered a meta-defining trainer card, which is universally playable and accelerates setup. It's essentially just a really good card play, and so players will want to buy this card. And that is it for our top 10. Let's look at our honorary mentions. These are just cards that, like I said before, were in our top 10 a couple of months ago and are no longer in our top 10. We have Pikachu EX057, which was number 4 before and is now ranked at number 15. We have Ceruledge 197, which was ranked at number 8 and now ranked at number 17. We have Leishia's Appeal with 246, which was number 9 and has dropped to number 14. And we have Alolan Executor EX242, which was number 10 and has dropped to number 11. Although none of these cards are within the top 10, I think it is important to note that these cards were still considered in the calculations of the top 10. And so while they are not as comparatively well selling as the other cards as they were before, while they aren't performing as well comparatively to as they were before compared to the other cards as well, they are still performing quite well because they were still considered in the calculations. As in, they're still considered within the top 20, top 19 or so bestsellers within this set. And I think that's still pretty good. Our biggest fall was probably Pikachu. X057, my guess is Pikachu was another card that was banking on its prize pack alternate version, and my assumption is that its prize pack version, because of its demand, it could have become a bit more common, and so that lowered the demand of both the prize pack version and this Pikachu card by association. And yeah, but even so, like I said before, all of these cards were still considered when calculating the top 10, which means these cards are still popular within the top 20 bestsellers, even if they have dropped from the top 10. That is it for my analysis on the best-selling cards in the Pokemon set Surging Sparks.